that's what I'm saying, it's a big data barrier. You know, if you imagine these different spaceships, if there's bombs going off and that's just about going each other, you actually have the ability and all that. Look, if you're throwing a bomb at a small place, the spaceship got hit. I don't care what the story is, the spaceship got hit. If there's a bomb and it's big enough that the spaceship, you know, is going to get hit and it might hit, you know, you think underneath there is lava, it might be wrong when you check. It might be a bunch of wiring. If you're going to hit the wiring, the place is going to go down, it's going to look an explosion in space, held in place by the larger cosmos, and that's going to be held in place by the larger cosmos. That's an atom bomb. That's a bomb. Atom bomb. The bomb is big enough. It is an atom bomb. If it is a bomb, the spaceship got hit to some extent. Any amount of a hit is a problem. A big hit like that where you've gone through is a problem. If you go through and you don't have a bill in hell, or your bill is very small, you'll be there a while, you have a real hell time. And I'm being sarcastic. It's pretty awful. And you get sent right back, you get sent to heaven, or you can just die, whatever the story is. You know, and unfortunately, if someone's bill is big, they're going to be there forever, and it's going to be as hot and as cold as can be, etc., and along different parameters. And it's not going to be good. And that's the situation, and that's why I don't think it's funny. I don't think it's funny to get yourself involved in such a thing. And as I said, involved with other God who is from the other side of that thing I described in space. That thing I described in space, and that thing that I described in space is not going to be there forever. And no, I don't appreciate being chased around the kitchen by some dude, some terrorist who says he's peaceful. You know, telling me, why don't you be back in half an hour? You know, here's a lesson. You know, you can throw out all your stuff if you don't expect it. There's terrorist behavior, and it's very funny. And you know, I really view things as, you know, it's like everyone's waist deep in the ocean, and then the tide goes out, and you see who's wearing their underpants or not. You know, you see who's wearing their swim shorts or not. You know, and you know what? I was really surprised to find I was wearing a swim shorts, and that really surprised me because there was no way I ever viewed myself as a person who had their swim shorts on. And that goes to show, because the mind can be deceived. The mind alone is no good. You need the gut, and you need your subconscious, and you need God. You need all of that to have discernment and to know when to skip an appointment, because you know there's something's going to go left. Without God, a person is screwed. The brain is not good enough as a tool. It is not good enough. It is vulnerable in many a way. And I could just imagine someone who beyond a doubt believes they have their swim shorts on or they don't. I could just imagine someone misunderstanding the terrain and not understanding that they're going to get themselves in a real situation with other countries who have astonishing technology. And that's what I was suggesting. You know, who knows who hit this place or that, or where the bombs are heading from to them. Who knows if it's really from Gaza? You know, they might be getting false information. They might be getting CGI-based visuals. You know, there's no way to 100%. You know, I don't know. I'm just saying. You know, I was so utterly. I was still utterly convinced I don't have my swim shorts on. You know, and so I could completely understand the inverse of that, which is to completely. Like, just to empathize with someone who's been, you know, you can lead someone through life a certain way. Imagine you took someone through a business and you faked all their sales. You went behind the scenes and you set up 300 accounts using like CIA technology, different countries, different amounts, and made out like their Shopify store was successful, making $3,000 a month and then $10,000 a month selling items that they did market research and were good. And you're making it up. And then one day the sales are zero. But but you can imagine that as like a template for how you can fool a person. You can fool their success cycle. You can make them, for example, let's say there was some technology to make someone not feel the cold. I said that they don't wear the winter coat. They don't get it. They don't understand that you need to wear a winter coat. They don't know anything about winter coat. They don't know anything about cold. They're not a normal person who goes outside and is like, you know what? Next time I really need to wear a coat. And they keep ignoring themselves until they get themselves into a lot of trouble, unfortunately. And that's how they learn their lesson. Sometimes a person learns their lesson through getting in a lot of trouble, and they figure out they need to wear their coat. And I could just imagine someone. That's an example of someone, always lived in a hot country, day and night it's hot, and even that, I mean, if you translate that analogy on a psychological level, people who live in not even hot countries like the UK. I remember what I was like when I lived in the UK versus New York City or Wisconsin. I was a very different person. I'd never been exposed to proper cold. I used to hang out outside all the time. I used to laugh all the time. Once I got to New York City, I was like, oh my gosh. And when I went to Wisconsin, it was really cold in the winter. When I went to Colorado mountains, I was a very different person. I was a much more serious person. I got a taste of trouble, you know. Like, that's just an example. A person who grew up in the UK like me was missing a metric of danger. And that is a very social, if not that, I mean, that one is easily done. And you could just begin to imagine, I assume, how someone could be led through. And unfortunately, if a soul is showing up under examination is very bad in different hypothetical examples. Hey, would you? And then they test it and see what the person decides. The person has free choice. The person does make a decision, and they are in trouble, and they do have to face the consequence. And there is no getting away from karma. There is no getting away from consequence. The best an evil mastermind can do is at death is kill themselves and they die, and they don't have to do it for hell. That's the best they could do. But the concept that an evil mastermind, but even a more lightweight one that isn't, driven himself through being so evil, he's schizo, his brain is so miswired to hurt people. He's so confused, between what's right and wrong. He's confused, it isn't a confusion to it's a mistake. He's making a mistake. He must be confused to make a mistake ultimately. The idea that the evil mastermind ends up living happily ever after with his girlfriend and kid, that is not the case. It's never the case. I mentioned the best case scenario for evil. For some people who want to be evil, it's worth it for them. They do the calculations. They figure out, if I do A, B, and just C, and just leave it at that, I'll do this, and I'll die, and I won't go to heaven, and I won't be reborn. I won't live forever, and it's worth it. That is the correct way for a person to be evil. Worse than that, it's not worth it. As I mentioned, the charge in hell is very high, for example. What I'm explaining is consequence and karma cannot be gone away from. There is no one who gets away from consequence and karma. As I said, it's magic. You make someone magically dressed. You make someone magically showered. You make someone magically have money. The work must be done. You need to plant the flowers to get the flowers. You need to work the soil. There's no. You need to build the building. It doesn't just appear on nowhere. There isn't, and you can just imagine how someone who does magic and suddenly there's a building that later on they have to sit there building all the buildings they built. Hey, we magically have pyramids. Yeah. And then there's a segment talked about in the Old Testament where a bunch of people sitting around building pyramids. You get the bill when you get to hell. It's not funny.
Leave him alone. Leave Nick alone. I really feel like he's willing to have a conversation to their arms. The freedom of religion, including they not serving their faith. I believe that is essential. So what I'm saying is, I really believe that we do have a lot in common. We got to work together and unite so that we can get President Trump reelected. He's our only weapon against the radical agenda. You're part of that radical agenda.
I mean, I'm not a traditionalist for like 1990. I'm a traditionalist for like 1790.
MAGA!
What you're talking about is in diametric opposition to the kind of Christian country that you want to promote. While there may be overlap in some areas, in critical and foundational and essential areas, there's a contradiction. And that's why, I would never, for example, be with somebody who's for abortion because abortion is
Me neither. I get videos about the evils of abortion.
I also can't be with somebody who's for the normalization or promotion of homosexuality, gender bending, and all this.
Because they know that they're going to go after these platforms. Hold on. Kick is all private equity. There's no advertisers. It's all crypto gambling. Where does the ATL influence?
Let's move back to Yang.
No. People probably don't want you in Rumble because people don't want Rumble to be seen as just a platform where all the Nazis go. Elon doesn't want you on two in the list that talked about the Jews. But you did camp. No. 5 times the XQC deal? You think that's enough for them to keep every single one of these social media platforms under their thumb? What was Elon's individual investment in Twitter? Was it like $33 billion? And you're saying $500 million is enough to keep Facebook, market cap of what, $1 trillion? Twitter, private equity held, Kick, private equity held, Rumble, publicly traded. Somehow the ADL is keeping you off of all these platforms. Don't you think it might just be the case that people don't want you because you're radical? The ADL. came out there at the front like they always are. Anytime anyone says something remotely critical of Jews in Israel, and they wrote a letter to Adidas and said, you better disavow. And the threat was this, if you...
The following is a conversation with... you mentioned the next version of Llama. Well, the following is a conversation with Mark Zuckerberg.
And I kind of, it's not that I get everything right. Of course I don't, right? I mean, we make a lot of mistakes. But I at least have a pretty strong sense of where I want us to go on that. The thing, in running a company for almost 20 years now, one of the things that's been pretty clear is when you have a team that's cohesive, you can get almost anything done. And you can run through super hard challenges. You can make hard decisions and push really hard to do the best work, even and kind of optimize something super well. But when there's that tension, I mean, that's when things get really tough. And when I talk to other friends who run other companies and things like that, I think one of the things that I actually spend a disproportionate amount of time on in running this company is just fostering a pretty tight core group of people who are running the company with me. And that to me is kind of the thing that both makes it fun, right? Having friends and people you've worked with for a while, and new people and new perspectives, but like a pretty tight group who you can go work on some of these crazy things with. But to me, that's also the most stressful thing is when there's tension. That weighs on me. I think it's maybe not surprising. I mean, we're like a very people-focused company, and it's the people is the part of it that weighs on me the most to make sure that we get right. But yeah, that I'd say across everything that we do is probably the big thing.
So when there's tension in that inner circle of close folks, so when you trust those folks to help you make difficult decisions about Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, the future of the company and the metaverse with the AI, how do you build that close-knit group of folks to make those difficult decisions? Is there people that you have to have critical voices, very different perspectives on focusing on the past versus the future, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I think for one thing, it's just spending a lot of time with whatever the group is that you want to be that core group, grappling with all of the biggest challenges. And that requires a fair amount of openness. And, so I mean, a lot of how I run the company is, it's like every Monday morning we get it's about the top 30 people together, and this is a group that just worked together for a long period of time. And I mean, people rotate in. I mean, new people join, people leave the company, people go to other roles in the company. So it's not the same group over time, but we spend, a lot of times a couple of hours. A lot of the time it can be somewhat unstructured. I'll come with maybe a few topics that are top of mind for me, but I'll ask other people to bring things, and people, raise questions, whether it's, okay, there's an issue happening in some country with some policy issue. There's like a new technology that's developing here. We're having an issue with this partner. There's a design trade-off in WhatsApp between two things that end up being values that we care about deeply, and we need to kind of decide where we want to be on that. And I just think over time, when by working through a lot of issues with people and doing it openly, people develop an intuition for each other and a bond and camaraderie. And to me, developing that is like a lot of the fun part of running a company or doing anything, right? I think it's like having people who are kind of along on the journey that you feel like you're doing it with. Nothing is ever just one person doing it.
Are there people that disagree?
The red level people. We got. And the money got first, he got petty. Rings on my finger. Out t-shirts, gave out a bunch of jerseys and merch and stuff to the fans. Shout out everybody that came through. So we did the movie over there. Then the release party that night. We got Starless. We went to the club.
With the meet greet and like the parties and everything like that, what was the craziest thing that happened in that little time frame that you seen? Or
just like real day one fans pulling up and telling me like how long they been bumping the music and for me how they got in tune. Like that's the craziest part to me. Like some of them been locked in since 2016, and they still.
When someone says that, do you feel like you like an old head when they're like, "I'm been your fan for 8, 9 years, 7 years, 8 years"?
Nah, I just feel like an OG in this shit. What? I can curse on here or not?
Yeah, you can.
I just feel like an OG in this shit. Like, I just feel like I've been in there for a minute. I'm still here. You know what I'm saying? Stamp.
Word. Now, speaking of that, though, talk about the album cover, you know what I'm saying? Sitting on top of the Barclays, and just how you talk about being an OG, how you feel like the man. So is that what made you want to go with that cover? Because it was hella Jug season, you know, different covers and shit on the internet. But what made you want to go with that specific cover?
This cover is just like everything you see on that cover. Like, that's where I grew up, like Barclays, downtown Brooklyn.
And you know, I just want to say, like, one of the ways a culture collapses is through cocaine. That's why one of the reasons I was talking about that, because that is a suspect, you know. It's from a leaf in the Amazon. It's not the coca leaf. And I did mention previously specifically drinking the substances when, you know, the rubber meets the road and things get completely mental. And that is beyond dangerous. And that's why you can see this very extra aggressive behavior and very bizarrely reckless, because any stimulant can make a person be a lot more prone to risk-taking behavior, maybe, you know, even hypersexual. But, you know, on a more base level, you know, you can imagine, you know, sexual behavior could be risk-taking here in terms of STDs. But, you know, that's just an example. It's not, you know, that is actually very serious. Like, oh my gosh, you know, a person could get STDs. And it goes on, it gets worse from there, you know, very violent and stuff like that. And you know, it's just, you know, really, you know, something to suspect. And you know, it's, you know, before electricity, and we have all these buildings in Egypt, and it's like, you know, this, you know, using all this magic to do stuff, and it doesn't last. And as I said, you know, eventually, you know, if a person has a building that's straight up out of nowhere, eventually they have to go back and build the building, and it is unfortunate. And it's definitely something I wouldn't rule out, because, you know, there can be epidemics of such a drug, maybe injected as fentanyl or whatever, or maybe misunderstanding of medicine and using that instead of medicine in some of these cultures. And yeah, I am suggesting if someone smokes a little bit of cocaine and snorts a little bit of cocaine and takes weed for a while, I am suggesting that's really besides the point, which is very odd to hear a person say, I would assume, you know, because you get advice on you know, a life or death situation, because, you know, what happens to someone on such a drug is far, far worse than death, because they can't see or hear clearly, and they're involved in magic, which involves not being able to see or hear correctly, and it's very dangerous. And that's exactly why you need to be in touch with a genuine, you know, psychiatrist, genuine doctors, genuine chemists, you know. That's why I said, you know, Concerta is a wonderful substance that a psychiatrist might prescribe for a person. And if you take the same substance and take it not as direction and chew it first or grind it up, you get a very different substance that's very dangerous. So you know, it's just very, very important to be sane, and that is something not everyone is. Not everyone is sane, and an unfortunate situation.
They put Barclays in the smack middle of where I'm from, like downtown. So, like, when building that clock time, you see in the back, like, those are just buildings we know, like, growing up more in downtown Brooklyn. Like, everybody in Brooklyn know those buildings. So it's more just like me stamping my place, as you know what I'm saying, like, her fave, like, king of downtown. Okay?
Word.
Downtown Brooklyn, you know, Toke Money Gang, you know her.
So do you feel like you're like a legend in this rap game in the Brooklyn scene?
I don't say none of that. I just let the other people say it. You know, you know what I'm saying? I'm the her favorite, though, for sure.
So, Jug season, it was a long time coming. Me, personally, I was waiting on that joint for years. I'm glad that it's finally out. It's going crazy. So what made you pick, like, right now, or I guess 2023 or whatever, to be like, all right, just the time for it right here?
I mean, I feel like this is the music that's missing right now. Like, especially me coming from New York, like, I keep my sound New York at all times. Like, I have my own wave to it, but I always stay true to, like, my city, like, New York sound. So if you listen to Jug Season, you can see a lot of the songs got that classic New York feel. You feel me? Because I just feel like that's what music is missing right now. Like, like the New York sound, we got a wave right now. You feel me? But it's not like the classic New York sound. It's a new wave. You feel me? And I fuck with that too. But it's just for my project, I want to keep it to like the wave they know from me, the wave they originally know from New York, real money music, bag music, you know.
And with that wave coming in New York, we've seen Remy Ma talk about it. We've seen all these OGs talk about it, and all these other lit rappers, famous rappers talk about the whole drill scene. People like it, people don't. What's your take on the drill scene? Like, do you like it, or do you feel like it got too far, too deep into like away from the original New York sound that you're discussing? Like, how do you feel about the drill scene right now?
I mean, I like it. I like certain people. I don't know. I'm a fan of music at the end of the day.
Okay.
So it's like, if you nice, I'm rocking with it. For me, like, but I feel like just a lot of the drill artists not nice.
Who's some of the drill rappers that you tuned in?
That's nice. Out of the youngins, I like Kyle Richardson. I like what's a few of them? It's a few of them. I mean, it's a lot.
Okay.
It's a lot, but I don't know. A lot of them is not nice.
All right.
But back to
they don't want to see me ball for ball. That's for sure. They don't want to see me ball for ball for sure.
Oh, ball for you think they can't?
Hell no. Only person that might got me in the city is Don Q. You could tell him I said it. Everybody else might not see me ball for ball.
Speaking of seeing you, I seen, you just dropped the Jug season, like the little joint on YouTube where you was hooping, and you called out artists, you called out actors, content creators, whatever.
Yeah,
so you say you nice with it in the ball. So you saying nobody could stick you? None of these rappers out here?
None of them. I know a few people used to play ball, but I still don't think they got it. It's like I'm rusty. They gotta give me a little time to warm up, but they don't want to see me on court for sure.
The rapper that everyone be saying that he's the nicest one, Quavo. You think you could be Quavo?
Man, Quay, holla at me. Put the bag up. Put the bag up, man. I'm telling you.
If it goes up to 21, what's the score?
He might get like 13.
Okay. And you winning it.
Yeah, he might get 13 because he be hooping, feel me? And I'm going to be shot. My lungs are going to be shot. But 13, nothing past that, Quay.
All right. How important is basketball to your life? Like, up to this point, obviously you've transitioned to music, but like, how do you still have?
I feel like music took over the place that basketball had in my life. Like when I was a kid, I used to just be fiending for I used to just sit in the crib, watch Allen Iverson highlights, and like everything was basketball. I was just fiending to play basketball. But it's like when I got older, I started being outside and. You know what I'm saying? Lifestyle happiness. Like I kind of lost like that love for ball. Like where I always wanted to play and stuff. So once I was in high school, I wasn't really even playing no more. After freshman year, I wasn't playing ball. But music, that's when I really got into music. So it's like that same love I had for basketball.
And you say you had the passion for basketball, went to the passion of music. You escaping stuff like that's happening around in the city into basketball and music. I want to know what was the biggest life lesson you learned then in those years.
Biggest life lesson I learned. My pops used to always tell me like, yo, like your 5 years from now, like yourself in 5 years is going like. Either be happy with yourself right now or be tight, you feel me? That's a fact. Like, basically, like, what you're doing right now, yourself 5 years from now gonna be like, either thank you or like, damn, you a dickhead, feel me?
Yeah, okay.
So it's like, that's the lesson I really learned during that time. Like, it started sticking with me. I started really understanding that shit. Cause it's like, shit, you know what I'm saying? Just dumb shit you doing when you young, it just catch up to you later, you feel me?
And picking back off that life lesson, 5 years ago, it was 2018. You're still making music. Are you tight? Are you happy with what was going on in 2018?
Boy, that young nigga did good. That youngin' Critch did good, man. Thank you, little bro. He did good.
Nah, that's a fact. But I want to go back to the project though. Back to Jug season. The production on it was fire. Like you hit him off the rip with that was random. Beat was crazy. But I want to hear.
A lot of no cap.
I'm a virgin, so I don't even know what that is.
No. I figured that. Yeah, Jug season just dropped. I would call it a tape. I would call it a project. Whoever you gotta take care of, mama love whoever, you know what I'm saying? First thing always.
All right, now well, how long ago was that? Like what, like 3-5 years ago?
That was mad long ago, brother. I don't know how you even remember that.
So now, like I gotta do a little research. So now I'm pretty sure you got her house.
That's a good one. You on your narwhal shit. You know narwhal, the nigga that be doing them interviews and he be knowing all them fun facts about him.
Nah, that's a fact. So what's the biggest red flag in an NYC female? Well, what makes them a walking red flag, though? That's like, it's New York, you know what I'm saying?
They move just like us, for me. That's what's bad.
You gotta blame us, though.
Think about how we move.
Why you think they move so masculine now? Like, I feel like there's no feminine females like that.
That's New York shit, like. It's New York shit. They grew up nasty. They grew up nasty how we grew up nasty. We all grew up, you know what I'm saying? Same way.
Where do people can find you at, like your Instagram, YouTube, all that good stuff?
You said what?
Where do people can find you at, like your YouTube, Instagram, all that?
Man, the people know where to find me at, man. I gotta tell the people, man. You know what I'm saying? I know, hey, man, George K. Jewelry, Must See Just, man, Aviani Water, you know what I'm saying? And this the old Aviani Water. My shit hitting better than y'all new shit. Like, I don't like that. I'm about to show y'all niggas, like, why my old shit hitting more than y'all niggas new shit? We gonna have to show y'all niggas something, you know what I'm saying? Shout out Aviani, George K, Must See Just, you know what I'm saying? I ain't got everything wrong. It's a Wednesday, we just keeping it light. You know what I'm saying? We keeping it light. What you got in here?
I ain't got nothing in here.
Shit, light. Oh, you got to drop the coins, hold on. Oh, you got coins.
So can we do a little quick drip check? I see you got some drip on you type shit.
Come on.
Let's start with the chain. How much for the chain?
I think a dub.
$20?
Yeah. And then like 15.
$15, okay.
Or like 15.
So like $30.
A dub and 15 or 15, some shit like that.
How much for the jacket?
You said what?
How much for the jacket?
Money, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like we just wake up and just put the shit on. I don't even be looking at that shit, bro. Like shit get crazy, like.
So I see you got a tee. How much for the tee?
Mozilla, white tee. I ain't gonna lie, this really just a polo white tee, but I just much for the pants. These some call shits. CDs like a band.
I see you got some jewelry too. You got what, Cartier?
Yeah, Cardi.
How much for the Cardi?
I think this one like 10, 8. I think I paid like 8.
They looking like Cuba
Zirconia.
Zirconia.
What cost that?
You said what? They looking like Cuba Zirconia.
What's that?
You know, what is it, cubic zirconia?
Cubic zirconia.
Zirconium.
What the fuck is that?
I don't know. That's what it's looking like. Zirconia. Like, you know when you go to the gumbo machine, you get
like you make cubic zirconium, nigga, with that haircut. You in a lab making that shit, whatever that shit is.
Nah, I am making it.
You be in the lab making the fake diamond.
Nah, I do. I ain't gonna lie.
But yeah, you ain't got the tester?
Nah, I don't got the tester. But
This was a big day to Barry, you know, you can imagine.